Well, welcome. Liverpool 12th Man Show is here. I had to do a little bit of a hiatus for a little bit because I've got a bunch of stuff going on. But, as always, you guys, all my Reds are always in my hearts and in my thoughts. So I am looking forward to today's show back. Got my brethren here, Brian, in with us, and possibly some others that might be able to join if we're lucky. And for right now, though, I'm lucky to see that you guys are joining us today. So welcome back, um, Brian. How are you doing today?
Yeah, very well, very well. Good to have you back.
Okay. Um, as you all know, I'm 12th man, just as much as you are. And today we're diving into Liverpool versus West Ham at Anfield. It's a big distinction because it's we've already just faced our first defeat on the road, and there's no place like home. I don't want to sound like Dorothy, but but there isn't. Anfield is a different setting, so I'm glad to see that we hopefully get the opportunity to go back to Anfield, get our feet settled, and make a good push off into the next upcoming game, so that we can really get over the line. And get this settled and get that. Hopefully, I want to see a guard of honor, and I would like to see us get obviously over 90 points this season. So, after last weekend's blip at Fulham, we are looking to bounce back, like I said earlier, and we're going to be going up against a struggling West Ham side. Not it's not like Snoop Dogg or anything like that, by the way. West Side, a struggling West Ham side. But they're under new leadership, which is Graham Potter. Graham Potter is a good coach. I definitely rate him as a coach. So let's break it all down for everyone. Big up to Abdul, by the way. Big up to Realism Jared in the chat. Big up to Lee WizKid as well in the chat, and everyone else that's maybe just getting to their seats. But hey, big up to each and every one of you, and appreciate the fact that you're here and that you're saying hello, or maybe just chilling and just enjoying the show, using it for that feel good moment of just knowing that you're amongst fellow Reds. So we're going to get into the first segment of the day. Is basically the rivalry breakdown, or the rundown, I guess. The records that we're going to be looking at. So let's start with the history and the potential for some historic history to be made by hopefully us. So Liverpool have already beaten West Ham 5-1 in the League Cup. That game was definitely one of the, I would say, and I'll ask Brian his opinion on this too. I would say that was one of our most comfortable games I've seen us play all season. I would say that Leverkusen and maybe City, but that was like a little bit different settings. But I think that those three games probably were my top three choices for someone might throw in United, I'm sure. But I think those three choices were like the games where we just looked sharp. It looked like it was easy settings for us. Um, there was no dips or valleys, no peaks and valleys of intensity. It was just straight, spin the tires and go type thing. Do you agree with that, or am I maybe like overvaluing that game?
Oh no, we had two very good games against them. Um,
Yeah, 5-0 in the league. You're right. Yeah.
yeah, Leverkusen. Yeah, one of the few times this season I think where we've been, like you said, not just controlling and looking comfortable, but
Hmm.
also looking like we had more about us as well.
Right.
Definitely, definitely. So if we can repeat that against them again tomorrow, I'd take half of that. Didn't have to be five. Didn't
Hmm.
have to be five, but
Right.
uh, it's been a long
Well.
time now since we've looked good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's,
Exactly.
it's been a long time since we've we've won one game in between three losses. It's been a long time now since we won two on the bounce and looked like a top team scoring goals. So yeah, we need to get back to that, and this should be the start of it. Hopefully, these guys at Anfield has to be.
I was going to say too. You said it doesn't need to be five, but would be nice if it was five. Is because do you realize this? No English top flight side has ever scored five or more goals against the same opponent three times in the season. So we could be, if we
Yeah,
were to score, we'd be the first to do that in history.
yeah, I did read that today. I did read. I brought it up as a
Okay.
question to Lante earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't able to get it. Yeah, I did read that today.
Oh, was that a
I
trivia
forgot.
question that you hit him on, or what?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I asked him, did he know what record we could break? He didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that either before today. Uh, 15 goals in one season against the
15
same
goals
team.
in one season is a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be more. Yeah, I guess it would be. No, that's it'd be 15 goals. Yeah, you're right. Because we didn't face them in the FA Cup, so um, we only so and it's not often that you'll face a side more than twice in the Prem.
yeah,
Simply, unless other than the top six, maybe the big six, you might see them because they're the ones that tend to get to quarters or semifinals and stuff like that. But other than that, you're probably, or maybe they're in the competition with you in the Champions League, or hopefully not Europa for us anymore. But
yeah. Unless it's Chelsea, we seem to play Chelsea about five
yeah,
times
all
a
the
season.
time. Yeah, it's like it's in our contract or something.
Yeah,
Um, big up Edward, by the way. Big up to Edward. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Hope that you're well. Um, and I hope I did say hello to Realism Jared. I hope, but if not, I'll say it again. Realism Jared. I'll say it again to Abdul, and I'll also say it again to Lee. Big up to each and every one of you. Um, so five times would be nice tomorrow. Um, in our head-to-head battles, we've faced them 152 times. Um, do you realize that we've beaten them nearly three times more than they've won against us? This is a team that we do pretty well against.
yeah.
I don't want to say that in trying to set up a jinx or anything like that, obviously, but I want to see it happen again.
They are one of those teams. They are one of those, like, they sometimes they just come along. And yeah, you talk about enough, they'll win a game eventually, but their record at Anfield is must be as bad as pretty much anybody's record at any ground. They're, I think, two wins in 50 or something like that.
Mhm.
Something crazy like that. So us versus West Ham at Anfield, especially when Moyes is in charge, it was just like just chalk up the 3 points. So
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to stay positive. I'm trying to stay
yeah,
positive. Well, trust
no,
me
but
on
they
that.
just are. They are a team that we have a great rate. That West Ham don't travel brilliantly either.
Hmm.
There are some teams just have a personality. You can change the squad 50 times, and the team just has a personality. There's something you can't get away from.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, we're 85 wins deep. They're 29 wins against us in 152 meetings. Obviously, there's about close to, not exactly, but let's say close to 50, around 45, 50 uh, draws in between us two. And just one West Ham win in the last 59 trips to Anfield, by the way. Um, and that's the last 59 trips. So that means 59 straight times have come to Anfield and have gotten just one win out of those 59 attempts. Um, doesn't mean it's all wins, obviously, or losses. It could be draws as well in there too. Um, but Liverpool are on a nine match winning streak against West Ham at Anfield. that goes to tell you what that is with that number. Um, do you think West Ham have mentally checked out this season, or is Potter just the wrong fit for them? Because they're not.
Yeah,
They're doing. They're like on and off. But he's a good coach. I think he's a good coach.
yeah. I thought he was an interesting choice for them.
Hmm.
Uh, he had to get back into the game. He's gone a bit under the radar there because um, he's working with an awful lot of players. Big, a lot of players between previous manager and the previous director. A lot of top quality players there as well. It's a bit of a weird marriage, Potter and West Ham. And it is an interesting one actually because I don't think, I mean, they can't go up, they can't go down, they can't get Champions League, they can't. I don't know. Yeah, it is. They could maybe be a little bit already in cruise control. A bit of very much a nothing season for them. I'm just going to have a quick look. They are
You mean their
16th.
last form? Yeah, they're 16th. Yeah,
Yeah, they're not going down. They're not getting Europe.
but they're not going down, but they're not getting Europe. They're kind of like
No,
they're not even going to really be even close to mid-table.
no.
Um,
They're playing for places, really. That's about it.
yeah, I mean their form has been win, loss, draw for the last 5 games, basically.
Yeah,
So, and they're only they did have a win against Arsenal. So I mean they have played a good side and actually won.
yeah.
That was a 1-0 win they got against Arsenal. Uh, and then they did get a win against Leicester, but that's not unfortunately not saying much. Then they proceeded to lose against Newcastle, draw against Everton, lose against Wolves, and then draw against, I believe, Bournemouth. I want to say I'd have to look at it. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, because if you're looking at they're 15 points clear of relegation, but they're 10 points behind 10th place. So they
Mm-hmm.
can't get relegated, can't get Europe. What have they got to play
Yeah,
for?
Bournemouth. Yeah.
Very, very little. Very, very little to play for, other than pride, uh, bonuses for finishing higher up the league. But other than that, absolutely nothing. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if they'd a couple of players still looking for a move, maybe that kind of thing. But yeah, it'd be difficult to see how they're massively motivated, and the manager doesn't seem massively motivated either. I think he just took that job to get back in the game. I don't think that's a good fit for him there.
Okay. Um, let me make sure I get that out there. Um, yeah, it was an interesting choice, but it was probably one of those things where they were just trying to find a relevant coach, someone that definitely has a little bit of a pedigree in the sense of good enough one that he got a job at Chelsea, obviously, or um, good enough one that he's able to obviously take on, or be able to handle talent, young talent, albeit from Brighton. So it is. It's. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good appointment, but it was one where they were obviously maybe with him having a summer to get stuff situated. It's a different setting than taking over for a coach that already has like everything kind of set and settled. Could chasing this record of scoring 5 goals 3 times be a distraction or extra motivation? Do you think?
Oh no, no, there's. I'd like every reason for him to want to go out and try and score a few tomorrow. That's what we want to see, is to shake a bit of the cobwebs off, because really 3 terrible results and one decent win
Mm-hmm.
since, oh jeez man, what, February kind of thing. It's just been a
Mm-hmm.
really long time since we've been at the top of our game. So this is exactly the kind of game, especially with a nice rest, hopefully not too long without playing. uh, because we've seen that hurt us. Before, like, this week off is great, but if you're only playing once a week as well, it is players get a bit itchy. They probably prefer to be playing at least every sort of 5 days.
Yeah, exactly,
Not every,
exactly.
yeah, just a
You get a
bit
little
more rhythm in
antsy.
the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
a
get a little
bit more
antsy. Yeah.
rhythm.
Yep.
So, yeah, slow starts. That to me can lead to slow starts. That's the kind of biggest after effect of that is teams not being bang ready from the off.
Hmm.
And that has been a bit of an Achilles heel for us recently is slow starts or just straight up not starting at all. So yeah, I'd like to see him go out. I want to see a couple of changes up top, one in particular, and I think it might help us if we do something like that.
I
But
wonder what it is. We'll get into it. We'll
oh,
get in. We'll get into it. We'll
yeah,
get into it. We'll get into it.
that's why I didn't mention it, and I just said,
I know. I got you. Um, I put in a poll for everyone to see how everyone's feeling. You can just put A, B, C, or D. And how you're feeling about this game because how many goals will Liverpool score in this game? It could be 1 to 2, 3 to 4, over five or more, or maybe it's less than one. I'd like to hear what you guys think. We'll get into predictions, Abdul. Certainly, I'll star your prediction here for when we get into the last segment. We're going to get our predictions in, but I'd love to see how you guys are feeling about it. Um, also, let's see. It is a tactical reset that we got to go through in this game. Uh, Obviously, if you look at that game against Fulham, I'm not trying to, give them a pass, give them an excuse, but I will go as far as to say, I think what was unique about the Fulham game is that it was very similar to where our game against Anfield when we were at Anfield. And what I mean by that is this: it was about 15 minutes worth of losing your head or not being focused, not dialed in, and then I'd say 75 minutes, maybe 65 to 75 minutes of, okay, there's a Liverpool I know. And that happened again at Anfield, or not, excuse me, at Anfield. This is against Fulham, at least. Against Fulham at Anfield. That was obviously, in my opinion, when Robbo got the red card, which I don't think it was a red card, but all the same, let's push past that. Um, and we kind of had a little bit of hiccups here and there. And then it went right back to, oh, this is like, guys, and we were on the front foot. Fulham said, oh, it was difficult to play against them, even with 10 men. And in that game against Fulham, it seemed that way too. It seemed like for 15 minutes, we just lost focus. We kind of got, this is a boxing metaphor, but it was like there was a swift punch from your opponent, and it kind of got you dizzy, and you're trying to get your feet and everything else, and you're getting hit with like some more lefts and rights, and you're just still trying to get in it, but you're not knocked out because you get your feet underneath you, and all of a sudden you start pressing forward. Um, that's kind of what I thought happened to us against Fulham. Um, so yeah, we took a punch to the mouth last week. 3 goals, 13 minutes. It's uncharacteristic and chaotic, but in those 13 minutes, we were sloppy. Let's just be honest. We were sloppy. Our back line was sloppy, indecisive in the midfield. The front line of ours was very inefficient or not even really hitting at all when it came to actually being clinical with their strikes because we had opportunities. We could have easily won that game, to tell you the truth, despite being down despite being down 3-1 because we went up early, obviously at the one with the wonder goal. But now we have to get this right. And I think with Bradley back, I think he's definitely going to start. I'm not trying to give too many spoilers. But and now with Salah having announced that he's going to be, he's mostly in, then out, settings where he's now announced that he's signed a new 2-year deal. Um, I think this is the time you need to realign in time for that final title push. You know, um, I just saw that. Yeah, I just saw that. Oh God. Um, Fulham definitely exposed our right side. Um, let's be honest. Salah isn't really super engaged when it comes to defense. Um, and even if he was, he's not the person that we're going to rely on to provide defense. Uh, I'd even go as far as to say Curtis Jones. I rate him, appreciate him. Shout out to him, by the way, Cujo. Hope to meet you again. And just in case you're watching this, so but but I would go as far as to say we it showed that we needed our right back. It might have even made um, some people kind of pining to even have Trent Alexander-Arnold in defensively at right back. But I'm looking forward to Bradley being back, and we need to get Salah. Get that. We need him to turn on the percolator, basically, and to start getting some goals again. Because obviously, um, 0 goals or assists in 4 games. I don't even want goals from Salah. By the way, I want assists. I want him to break that record. I know that sounds wild and everything else, but I'd like to see him get that record. By the way, I'd like to see a Liverpool Red have that 20+ goals, 20+ assist record rather than Henry for Arsenal. But this is his longest drought since March 2021 in having no goals or assists, which is pretty wild. I like the fact that Diaz is heating up. He's had 4 goal involvements in 4 games. So shout out to all of us that do support Lucho. And an extra large shout out to all the haters for my Colombian brethren. And I know. And I think Salah, obviously, not having international breaks or anything like that to deal with, us having a long, well raced rest, and also him having at least settings in the sense of having the ability to not only have rested legs, but also understand the game plan, be interpreted with what we need to do. And I'm hoping he's played through this slump. I'll ask you this question, and this is a shout out to those that will be bold enough to answer this one. But Brian, was Slot too reactive in the Fulham game, or did he simply get the lineup wrong?
Uh, no, I think the players making individual errors let them down. I think uh, you put the players out on the pitch. They were all fit enough and ready enough to go out there. Jones, uh, look, he had a good game against Everton, and Everton are a strong team. I know it could be different sentence to Fulham, but so, defensively, just as much hard work probably. Um, but yeah, just it's hard to like Pops is just saying that when you make that many kind of this glaring, obvious individual errors,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to pin it on a coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you said, we still could have been in that game, but
Mm-hmm.
like to see us, to see us perform like that, I haven't really seen us have a. I was going to say, yeah, no, but I was going to say 14 minutes, but there was opportunities they had before that as well. So it's probably call it a whole half of football where because Gallagher made mistakes before that. Canada made a mistake before the goals, and there was another one after. So it was at least 3 other errors that luckily didn't lead to goals, plus the 3 that kind of did. So yeah, I just think maybe the only other option he had was putting Kwanzaa in, and if Kwanzaa had played in that game, would that necessarily have made all the difference? Who knows? I think the rest of it was pretty much what he needed to do. Seems like a while ago, actually, now that Fulham game for whatever reason. But yeah, one I want to forget, I suppose.
Okay. Okay. Um, this is all thinking that I'm hoping that Connor Bradley's fully rested, fully healthy, fully ready to do a full
Yeah.
90. That'd be great. But hypothetically, let's say Connor Bradley isn't really able to do a full 90. Um, this is under those pretenses, okay? I'm gonna put this audience poll in here as well. This is all on the pretense that Connor Bradley's maybe don't want to necessarily rush him back with a full 90. That's just that. Just as Abdul saying, Bradley's match fit. He hopes. We all hope. But let's just say you want to be. You definitely don't want to be. You don't want to. You want to be cautious, not overcautious, but cautious. Who are you starting at right back versus West Ham? Connor Bradley, Curtis Jones, or maybe oh, you know what? My bad. I actually there was a
Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa as well. My fault. I did have another. I should put the other option in. Let me put
I'd
Kwanzaa.
go Bradley for an hour, 70 minutes, hopefully. If because otherwise, but if he's not on the bench, I'd go with Kwanzaa.
Okay.
Yeah, if Bradley
Um,
couldn't take part at all, I'd go with Kwanzaa. But if Bradley is available, I'd give him the hour.
okay. I see we do have another participant, but give me 1 second. Or if you can bring him in, that'd be great too.
Oh, I just did. He just
Okay.
disappeared.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Oh, no, he's back. He's changing his avatar because he's a weirdo.
I got you.
Join the club, bro. Join the club. Now, what it was, you can either use the app or the Safari, and I prefer using the app. So on the app, this was the picture. That's a sign.
Oh,
Tomorrow Salah
yeah.
gets a hat trick.
Worst
I got
throne
you.
ever. I'm just saying it. I said it on my own show yesterday. That is the worst throne ever. That's just
That's
like
why
a
he's sitting on the
fancy
floor.
chair. Yeah,
That's why he's
thrones
sitting
are
on the
should be at
floor, bro.
least 3 times the size of that, man. That's like a mini child's throne or something like.
Yeah, it could have been better, my opinion as well.
Yeah, needs to be much taller at the back and stuff. You know, that's not a throne. That's just a fancy chair.
That's a chair in the office they don't use. Use that, mode.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Linda's chair for when Linda comes over. She sits in
Yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. I put in another choice too. I put in a choice D in case some people did want to see someone else. And it's someone who I actually had Kwanzaa starting last against Fulham, to tell you the truth. But you know, it is what it is. Shout out to Tom, by the way. Shout out to Trudon.
Yeah, Tom, good to
Um,
see you, man. Good to see
good
you,
to see you,
Tom.
Tom, for sure.
Yeah, Marianne.
Um, yes, the ladies, our Reds ladies are in the house for sure. Big up, big up, big up the Pops, by the way. Bonkers. A lot of good people joining us, and I appreciate that. Appreciate that. I know it's been I had a little hiatus, like I said earlier, but there's no place I'd rather be than with my brethren here, and that's me saying that's me being honest. You know, you can tell that from that's from the heart. So shout out to Mark, by the way, Mark A, my guy, big up, big up. So and I think I said Trudon, but if I didn't, shout out to Trudon as well. I put the other poll in there though real quick to see if you guys if there were some of you that wanted to say Kwanzaa. We'll get in some of these polls. We're getting close to where I can put the polls actually and put them in without having to make them on my own. But yeah. Shout out to JK. Shout out to JK as well. How you doing, JK?
I'm good, bro. I'm all good. Weather's good. Everything's good. Looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Yeah, you're lucky. It's getting hot here in my part of the world. We're already hitting triple digits that's in the Fahrenheit situation. So it's always fun. Be breaking Not even not even all the way through April and hitting triple digits. That's
Okay.
Fahrenheit, by the way. What is 100 degrees in Celsius? What is that? What is 100 degrees in Celsius? 100 degrees Fahrenheit? I don't. No one knows. I can Google it real quick.
30-ish.
30-ish, I thought, right? Yeah, because zero is like, isn't zero freezing? I think 32 degrees. All right. But yeah, who let the dogs out? That's what we're asking, definitely for sure. So you just mentioned Salah. You had JK was mentioning Salah. Basically, West Ham is certainly holding on to a player that
7.
has announced that he would be open, by the way, to a move to Liverpool, by the way. Bowen has come out to say that that Liverpool would be a great destination for him if he were to be moving on. Oh, is it? I got you in the 246. Yes, that's what's up. Definitely. Um, yeah, it is definitely getting hot here. Enough that I had to turn the air on. 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, I'll remember that. But what I was saying is not just about team form, it's about key
Bowen is,
players.
sorry, I just had to laugh because Bowen is too old and too expensive. He's not like Marlon
Wow.
Brando or something. He's not like
Yeah.
he's not in his 60s in charge. It's
I
like
know.
too
Yeah,
old and too expensive.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
he's only about 28. Yeah, but no, I know what you're saying. But
Acting like him and James Milner came in the league together or something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No, I think Bowen is an absolutely brilliant player
I think he's a great
right up
player.
to a
Yeah.
certain level. Like he needs to play. If he's not, like, he could probably get signed by a big club, but he wouldn't play for them.
Right. But
He plays every
that's what I
single
would like to
week.
see him as, though. I'm not saying I want to see him as a starter in a sense, but I'll let you finish. I apologize for cutting through it.
No, I just mean
Yeah.
for a West Ham and Newcastle, a Villa. He plays every week,
Yeah.
scores loads of goals. But then if he was to like have an amazing season when he's 26, get a big club move, it's like he's Jared Bowen. He's just not a sexy name. He's not a fancy. Like there'll be another guy along soon, and he just wouldn't get the game time he deserve. He's just one of those kind of unlucky players, I think.
Hmm.
But he should be playing for a better club than West Ham, I think. He
Yeah.
should be playing
Agreed.
for like a
Agreed.
Newcastle or Villa. He could do a job in like for a Champions League club. I think he's good
Hmm.
enough to play in the Champions League.
Mm.
Just he'd be a bench squad type player out of Liverpool or an Arsenal or a Man City. He'd just be a rotation. He'd probably lose that thing that makes him special because he's playing once every
I
3 or
understand what
4
you mean.
games.
Yeah. 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 Like
But
you think that maybe
dangerous.
playing every day gives him that edge
Yeah, he's just
rather than
dangerous.
having to do. But I
Yeah,
see. You know what I see? You know what's funny about what you're saying? And again, I'll let you finish. I was just going to add this one point. Um, an interesting portion about Bowen reminds me a little bit of like Trossard in the sense of like, but the difference is, I will say this: I don't think Trossard is a glorified starter. I think he's more of like that spot starter, if not more of a super sub off the bench. But I think the reason why I'm saying that is that he's Trossard is dynamic though when he gets the opportunity to be a goal scorer. I think Bowen has that same dynamism, but the difference is he can do it as a winger or even as a striker when he's had to fill in for Antonio this year. So like I like the fact that he's got that versatility in his game. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, he's got back into the England squad as well. And
Mm-hmm.
as soon as he got a game, they started complaining about him. It's just
Mm-hmm.
typical England fans. But I just think right player in the right position, right club, he'll get you 20 goals in a good season. Premier League goals. That's not
Mm-hmm.
beyond him. It's not
Mm-hmm.
beyond him. So we'll have to watch it. We'll probably get onto it, but he can be quiet, but he doesn't require many opportunities to finish.
Mm-hmm.
If you give him one or two, he's going to probably hit the target. He scored an incredible header last weekend. If you watch it back, the Fulcro one was great as well. But his one also. So it shows he's not just, he's got a lot to his game. He's still a player with confidence at the moment, but always liked him, but always kind of like, oh, well, no, I'm here compliment, but no, sorry, you're okay. We don't want to buy him or anything. I'm just saying you've got a great player there, but no, I don't. I'm not getting the checkbook out.
I get that. I get that. He runs to 2030 and doesn't have releases. I get that. This is all from. I just wanted to make sure because there is a actual quote out there. Okay, so here's the quote. Just in case, I'm not just like talking. I'm not an ITK in this for this particular incident. It's just I do like to read just as much as everyone else has the opportunity to read the same stories. This was the quote out there. It says, according to former scout Mick Brow, West Ham United attacker Jared Bowen would not turn down a move to Arne Slot's Liverpool side if they made an offer for him. The chance to play, this was the quote, this is what Bowen directly said. He said, or excuse me, Brow said about Bowen, is the chance to play for Liverpool would appeal to any player, he told Football Insider. It's an opportunity to win trophies and play at the highest level. The intrigue, the luster, the whole what we want to have be associated, and always has been, but certainly want to continue to have associated with the club is something that should be appealing, and that's the reason why I was bringing it up. But with that said, I bring this down. With that said, all eyes will be on Mohamed Salah. Let's turn our interest onto our right-sided inside forward. Can he break his 4-game drought? For West Ham, the danger is Jared Bowen's 3 goals in his last 3 versus Liverpool. Salah has 44 GA this year, but obviously I just said it's kind of weird. I don't know if some of us are into numerology, but 44 goal, he has 44 GA, and it's all about the 4. So maybe Mohamed Salah scores 4 goals tomorrow. Fingers crossed there. Or maybe he has 4 assists. How about that? Even better. Have 4 assists. That'd be even better. But Bowen has 6 goal contributions in the last 7 versus Liverpool. I'm gonna ask JK this question. Okay, that was weird. You heard that noise, right? You heard that noise?
Yeah.
Oh, that was Leah. Muted it.
Oh, okay.
Nice one.
Okay. I was going to ask you, JK, has Liverpool become too reliant on Salah and neglected creating overloads elsewhere? Do you think?
I see football like this, bro. When a guy is good at what he does and he's the best in the team at it, you're going to go to that guy to give him the ball to carry on doing that to win your game. So for me, Gakpo was the one guy who I would say out the front attacking options we've got, who was getting up there. He was getting goals, he was getting involved, and boom, he got injured. And since then, he hasn't really been great, So Salah's our best player, bro, attacking sense. Hence why, for me, we rely on him quite a lot. His numbers tell you that. He's been off the boil last 4 games, and in them 4 games, bro, we lost 3 of them. So, you know what I mean? So it does feel like we are.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a bit of a weird one. But I just feel if Gakpo was fit in the week we had Newcastle and Paris, I think we might be doing different. I just felt like Gakpo was getting there now, helping Salah out with the numbers, assists, goals, or whatever. Diaz has chipped in. Yeah, Darwin, but Diaz has chipped in, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. There's some people, real quick, I'm sorry, it's because I just noticed everyone's still getting on about my comment about Bowen there. Okay.
Oh, he never said that.
There's some people that feel it. There's some people that are feeling it, and there's some people that are just like, nah, bruh. That day is gone.
He didn't say in that little interview he gave there, I was a big Man United fan when I was young.
Is that what Bowen is? Bowen is?
Yeah, Bowen's a
Bro.
United fan.
Okay.
Ever since I knew that, I was like, nah, not for me.
Yeah, that kind of takes a little. Look, I was only saying it. Big up, shout out to Kevin, by the way. It's good, by the way, to see Edward. I'm glad to see that. I'll put that up and I'll start for later on before. But what I was going to say real quick about Bowen, because this is the nice part and point I was going to bring up too. I was going to ask a question about Bowen anyway, but why I thought like it'd be a good option. I know people think he's too old. I get it. He's 28. I understand, but imagine as a football player, he's probably also thinking you're coming to the twilight of your career. You know that your opportunities aren't going to be abundant to win trophies with West Ham. Maybe this could be the opportunity where you push for a move and you say, "Look, I love West Ham. I love like that's all I'm saying. You love West Ham, big respect and everything else. But let me see if I can bring you some money so you can get yourself another move for another player possibly, but also allow for myself to go to a club where he could provide a very, very, I think a real squad option for us. Never saying that he should be a starter over any of the players that we currently have on our front line. All I'm saying is he would be a very, very, very valuable squad option to have. So that's all I was getting at. So if you guys don't agree, that's what the comments are for. That's what the chat's for too. Put them in the comments though. If you're watching this on the replay, and if you don't think that, tell me in the comments too. I always look to comment back. If I don't, JK will, or maybe Brian will. Oh, we got Lee in the house right now, so So hey, we all love the comments because it helps the channel grow. So big up. And speaking of our panel growing, big up to Lee. How you doing, Lee?
Good, mate. Excellent. I really like and rate Jared Bowen, and I have done ever since he burst onto the scene, so to speak. I think he's a really good player, and I don't think he's too old. He is by the FSG metric, if we look at it that way. But 28 isn't that old, is it? I mean, look at Mo's just signed a new contract.
We just signed him. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You just gave a 30-year plus, 32, 33-year-old, a 385, if not 400,000 pound a week signature, or contract.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a tough one, like to rule players out just because they're in their late 20s. It never used to be really that much of a thing, but it has become a little bit more like that, not just for us though. There's other clubs as well that don't seem to buy once players are past a certain age. Which, I don't really agree with it, but you have to trust the people who are in charge, don't you? That they know what they're doing. And that's the way they tend to see things, that players of a certain age are past it, really, as a resaleable asset, maybe is the best way to put it.
Right. I got another.
Obsessed with sell-on value now. That's the thing. Like the idea, like if you're going to spend say 60 million quid on a player,
I know you're about to go.
Yeah, they have to know that they're going to get money back, or at least be able to. So, sell-on value unfortunately is a bit of a thing.
Yeah, but and I'm sure it's a difficult dance to say. I mean, he doesn't want to get out there that he's pushing for a move, because then you turn the fans against you, and you can ruin your legacy.
Yeah,
too many of us know that.
Fuck the West Ham fans, but if he wants to win trophies, he should go to Newcastle. He has a chance of winning maybe a couple of cups before he retires.
Thing with Bowen is he usually does play well against us, doesn't he? He turns
exactly, Lee. Exactly. We were just saying that Bowen has had 6 goal contributions in the last 7 versus Liverpool.
That's his Man United in him. Make him do that. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you, bro.
Good one. Touche.
He'd be like, I'm injured again. You know, when we got United at the weekend, he'd be like, oh, pulled my hamstring a little bit last week. You know what I mean? I can't make it.
There you go. Yeah. Question: Mighty Reds poll. This is the Mighty Reds poll I have for us. Who is more likely to have a goal contribution in this match? Would it be Salah? Would it be Bowen? Would it be Diaz? Or you can go with the field. You can say we're going to get it from elsewhere. It's going to be from elsewhere other than the actual participants. There will be a goal or two in this game. I don't think this is going to be a 0-0, especially considering we don't have many 0-0s. So I'd love to see what everyone is thinking as well. Let's get into this lineups, injuries, some of Slot's choices as well. So let's talk selection. I think it's a pretty sure because it was mentioned in the press conference that Ali is available. When I heard him say he is available, I'm thinking that he will start him. We're gonna do a whole prediction of the lineups coming up in 1 second, but he mentioned that Ali was available, so I think he's going to start. The big question is, does Diaz get the start over Cody? That's my big question for a lot of people. Agent Cody, by the way. I can't, that's my guy. But Cody is working his way back to the fitness and form that we were becoming certainly, not even comfortable with, but I mean, like as in expecting from him. I think that the big question could also be, with a little bit of some of the changes that we've seen, what formation we should expect against West Ham. We've seen our club go sometimes. We're not always in a 4-2-3-1. Sometimes we're in a 4-2-3-1. Sometimes we're in a 4-3-3. And this is something that I've recognized. I've heard it on a couple other channels too. So I'm not trying to say it's like some, my own, solo observation, but we have seen our, Graf sometimes be the lone DM occasionally. So we've been more of a 4-3-3 than a 4-2-3-1. We haven't really sometimes been in a back pivot, or at least a pivot in our midfield. There are those that have some ideas as to what would be a solution for Grab to get that swagger back, turn him back to gravy. And I do have a predicted lineup. I'm going to show you, however, I'll start with West Ham's predicted lineup. And this isn't my predicted line. This is going to be the Opta predicted lineup. And I'll also give you my own predicted lineup. So, because Opta went with some different choices than I did. So for West Ham, they have, and bring this up for everyone. Give me 1 quick second here. Make sure that's on there. So for West Ham, they have Bowen in the striker role, Kudus, Lucas Paqueta on the left, Sosic in the middle, Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse. Talk about old, okay. In that pivot, Scarles, Kilman, Tadibo, Wan-Bissaka, and Areola in net. They have them in a 4-2-3-1. I'm not expecting them to play a 4-2-3-1 personally. I don't know. This is why this section is called lineups and injuries, but also more so the choices and the formations. Do you see them going with a 4-2-3-1? This is West Ham's, and then I'll pivot to Liverpool. I'll ask Lee, since Lee just joined us. Do you see them going with a 4-2-3-1?
Possibly. I can't say that I've seen an abundance of West Ham since Potter took over, but they've got a decent side. I mean, you look at that 1-11, that's a decent side. I'm not sure about the defence. It's okay, but the rest of the side's better than the defence. But yes, I could probably see them going with that. And that looks like a decent away line, up a 4-2-3-1. Certainly strong in attacking areas, aren't they? Like they're good going forward.
I'll ask this too, because Pops is saying he's going to see he expects them to go into a 4-5-1. Yeah. I was going to ask this because I've seen them at least technically be a 3-5-2, whereas they have a back line of Kilman. This lineup is one way. I don't see them playing this lineup. The lineup that I predict them to do possibly has Kilman there. It'll have what's his name? Jean-Claire Todibo, right? How I pronounce it, hopefully.
That's the guy.
But the man in the middle I have as being Mavropanos. So that would be their back three for me, at least. I then have a front. I'll go to the front line because I'll be easier than doing the five in the middle real quick. I have a front line being Bowen and Kudus being their front attacks. And then, so it's not just Bowen as the one striker. You'll have Kudus and Bowen up front. And then I'll have a midfield of different from what they have. I have Emerson is the one difference. I have Juan Bissaka. Wing backs playing, they're more like wing backs. I get that because you could say it's a 5-3-2 in a sense, but I see them play more like a higher up wing back, basically, with Emerson be on the left, Juan Bissaka be on the right, and then you have Paqueta, Surkic, and James Ward-Prowse being in the middle. Is that too far off from what you might see, or how do you see them lining up?
I think your man Scarles is supposed to start. I think Emerson must be out or whatever, but Potter said Scarles was going to have to start left back for him.
Oh, is he? Okay, I don't have him being out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they are, but that was the he said day before yesterday, I think it was, that far back. He said, young Ollie Scarles, whatever his name is, he's going to be starting.
Maybe he got reevaluated in practice because the only two people I had out were Somerville and Antonio, obviously from the accident. Those are the only two players I had out.
Yeah, I think Wan-Bissaka, I'm not sure what they'll do. Like, they won't get a chance to go. There's no chance Souček plays number 10. Paqueta won't play off the left.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to. They have a lot of midfielders. It'll be probably 4 at the back, 5 in midfield, and then let Kudus and Paqueta try and get up to Bowen when they can, and have Alvarez, Souček, Ward-Prowse might not start. He didn't start the last time, I don't think so. It's hard to know. Don't watch him enough, but.
Yeah, I've not seen enough of them to really be sure what he's going to do. But he does favour sometimes a back three, doesn't he? Or 3 centre halves. Anyway.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes that might be one of the full-backs playing a centre half occasionally. That could easily happen. It'd be more of a 5 at the back, with the wing backs.
How about for you, JK? Is that the lineup you see? We're going to transition real quick as soon as you tell us your opinion.
Yeah, that's
to our lineup.
Yeah, that's the strongest lineup looking at it on paper. Yep. They've got a few good players. When you look at them. When you look at that lineup.
Yeah, they got a decent team. I think that's the reason why that they had to make I think that's the reason why they had to make a different choice for their gaffer, because they have a better team than being 16th place. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, they've definitely got a better team than that place, and haven't they? I'm glad it's not Moyes anymore. I mean, we have to face him in the derby, but I'm glad it's not Moyes anymore. I prefer to play against Potter's side than I do against Moyes'. Get more
Interesting.
of the game.
Okay.
Well, if your man Fulkrug is fit, then they like even in that scenario, that lineup, I think they're more likely to go. But anyway, like you put Fulkrug up front, you put Bowen on the right, you put Kudus or Paqueta in the, no, you put Paqueta in the number 10, put Kudus out on the left, Bowen on the right, drop Suchek into the middle, drop Ward-Prowse to the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if Fulkrug is fit, he'll start him. He will. He won't get him. He won't get 90 because he was saying during the week this guy they're having to put him on a specialist program to make sure that he can play enough games, but without getting injured. So it sounds like he has issues. He can't he can't train normally.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to have to do everything to get him fit and playing. So I probably come off the bench, but that will give him a completely different makeup. Then that's a proper number 9 that they can hold up the ball, build around. And if you have Bowen, Paqueta, and Kudus in behind somebody that can hold up the ball, then if they're playing well, they can cause you some problems. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if we will see Fulkrug tomorrow.
Okay.
I think
He's a big
Tom's
player.
right there. What Tom's saying that he is a handful, Fulkrug, isn't he? Like handful Krug. So I could see him playing. I could see him starting.
A lot of people are saying that. Yeah, or not a lot of people. Yeah, Tom said that. You just said that. Brian saying that. Bonkers is saying if he was Potter, he would play Fulkrug. Good player. Very good player.
Scored a great header last week.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, he gave an interview and he was saying they're having to work in a specialist way to keep him fit for matches. And he was kind of saying, I think he said we're having to work to find a way that he can play, but we can play him without endangering his fitness, which all sounds very complicated.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
that's not something you want to hear being said
no,
about your player.
no, it's like seriously, you know, we can't ask him to do this, can't ask him to do that. You know, very Paul McGrath he can play on a Saturday but can't train for 4 days. Everything swells up or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the kind of guy that has a good hour in him, and all it takes is someone like him. He can score 2 goals in an hour.
I have a question for you guys. So we're going to get into the lineup for our. We're coming up on predictions in a second, but I'm going to ask you this. This is the audience poll, the Mighty Reds poll that I have for us. I have 5 choices for us. I'm going to ask the panel give me their choice. If necessary, take the one that's closest to the one that you would play and adjust it to what you need to adjust it to. Okay? But here's my question for you. The Mighty Reds poll is this. Which front 3 should start for Liverpool? Should it be Salah, Diaz, and Hatta? Should it be Salah, Diaz, and Hakpo? Should it be Salah, Nunez, and Diaz? Salah, Hatta, and Hakpo? Or finally, should it be Salah, Diaz, and Chiesa?
You haven't got my one.
Okay.
You got close, but you didn't get my one. I was waiting to see.
Okay.
Just don't. No, you don't have my one. You don't have my one.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with you, then, Brian. Which one would you go with?
The front 3 I want to see.
You can say give the letter that's closest to it, and then then tell me who it is.
The one that's closest to it is E. Salah, Diaz, Chiesa. But what I would like to see is Gakpo off the left, Chiesa through the middle.
In the middle, yeah.
And Salah off the right.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Give it 45 minutes. If it's worth, give it an hour, but give it at least start the game with it. Put Chiesa through the middle, Gakpo off the left, Salah off the right. Then you've got Jota, Nunez, Diaz on the bench.
Okay.
Bench, isn't it? Attacking wise, that's a good bench. Yeah. I mean, I think it's about time Agent Cody got a start. I mean, he started in the. People weren't happy that he started the other game and said, "Oh, Diaz should have started." But players have to get back to fitness, don't they? Somehow or other, they've got to play to get back to fitness, haven't they?
Exactly.
Right. I raised my hand because I was one of those people. That's why I'm not shy.
It's true what Lee says. If you don't get game, how are you going to get fit? So,
No, I get that. I get it.
Yeah.
But, there are other people that you have a squad for the reasons of being able to utilize a squad, in my opinion. Well, let's not get too sidetracked. We're not going to go down that route today. But right now, it's just a preview. So I only see Bonkers gave me Diaz. He gave me Lucho. He gave me Hata and Salah as his lineup, which is basically the starting lineup that we normally go with, or starting lineup that we started the season with. Brian said that he wanted to go with Salah, but have Chiesa in the middle and have Hakpo on the left.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you would like to see in the lineup, JK?
Same as Brian. We discussed it yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. I want Chiesa in the middle, Gakpo on the left, and Salah on the right.
Okay.
Diaz, Jota, and Darwin on the bench would be nice.
Okay.
But I'd love to see that front three. I think Gakpo, trust me, I said if Gakpo didn't get injured, we would have won that League Cup. We probably would have been playing Villa now in the Champions League. That's how good he was getting for us, bro. So Gakpo on the left, Chiesa in the middle, and Salah on the right.
Okay. How about for you, Lee? And if you guys don't want to participate, feel free to participate in the poll, people. If there's a letter that's close to what you want it, but it's not exactly, then just take out the one player that doesn't meet the bill.
Bonkers is going with 8.
Personally, I would like to see Chiesa tomorrow given a start. Do I think it's likely? No. I think he'll go with Jota. But I would like to see Chiesa given a start and given a chance to affect the game from the beginning.
Okay.
And I put him with Gakpo and Salah. Myself,
Okay.
Front three I'd like to see start. But I think he'll probably go with Gakpo, Salah and Jota is my gut instinct.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the lineup that Opta went with. This isn't my lineup, by the way. This is just the lineup that Opta went with. They're doing a 4-2-3-1 in this one too. I'll share with you this lineup. So the lineup they went with is, let me bring this down too. I'm gonna make this large for everyone. The lineup that they went with was went with Hata up at the striker spot, Salah obviously on the right. They went with Dominic, someone that's been very much in the crosshairs lately. In the 10 spot, they went with Hakpo on the left. They went with Grav and McAllister in the pivot for us. Then they went with Robbo, Van Dijk, Konate, and then they went with Jones in the right back spot again, and they went with also Kelleher in the goalkeeping spot.
I'm taking 4 of them. Yeah,
there's some notable ones that I don't agree with Opta score or Opta on in this.
Yeah,
bring this down.
The 4 for me: Kelleher, Jones, Szoboszlai, Jota. I'll go Chiesa, Jota, Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai, Kelleher for Alisson for Kelleher, sorry, and Connor Bradley as Curtis's replacement. That would be for me a good team. Alisson, Kurt, and Connor back. Curtis Jones for me is a bit more tougher than Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai for me isn't tough enough. He needs to toughen up. He's got the skills and there's a fancy side of football, but he ain't got that toughness that McAllister's sort of got. You know what I mean? If he did, because I've seen him getting involved in sort of tight situations, and he don't ever win the ball, bro. And it's really annoying. And I'm thinking, come on, he does it sometimes, but for me, he should be doing it more because he's a big lad. He's tall. He's athletic. and he ain't like he could be a tough guy, but he ain't tough enough mentally, I don't think, yet. Because when you play football with all skills and shooting and this and that, you don't really concentrate on the toughness of your game. You just bother about the little flicks and stuff, you know what I mean? But coming to Liverpool, he sort of learned that quick. You got to toughen up, bro. But for me, him and Jota, I wouldn't start them two, no.
Okay. I guess there has been some talk about the fact that possibly one of our promising players might be on the chopping block, or might be someone that we move on from, and that is apparently Kwanzaa is not been. Apparently, he might be offered up in the summertime, which is kind of disappointing to hear, if that's true. And because I was going to say, who do we pair? If we were to go by what happened at Ipswich, for instance, Kwanzaa got the early hook in that one, and then Konate started the next game. Kwanzaa didn't get to showcase himself in the previous game, but you could make an argument of as to who's going to actually start next to Virgil van Dijk in this game. Now that Konate has had a little bit of a head scratcher against Fulham, and Van Dijk, though, for all matters, had his head scratcher as well. I had my lineup was Ali, Bradley, Ibu, Van Dijk, Robbo, Grav, McAllister. I would like to see Harvey Elliott get the start in this one. And I'm not looking for Harvey to give us a full 90. I'm just looking for him to at least get enough of a game to kind of get acclimated, and also get into the groove with the rest of his teammates. Show his worth. I think that would be something. I think in a game like this, especially, he would probably look forward to that. I'd also like to see, obviously, Salah get on the assist, onto the system once again. And I'd also like to see Nunez get a start in this. I think that's not going to happen. And if it's not going to happen, then I'd like to see us put Diaz. Only reason why I like the Chiesa idea, because I'm over Hatta getting the time again spot calls for starts, and I'm also I get that that Cody needs needs the ability to get into that match fitness. There's only one way to get into match fitness, and that's playing in matches. However, we've only got so many more. You want to get that match fitness, let's save them for the games that we already are getting the Guard of Honor for. For right now, let's get over the line and find ourselves well suited to play players that will be fighting for positions going on to the future. So I'd like to see Chiesa get a start.
You're not sorry. You're not sorry at all, Tom. Tom is saying he's sorry to burst people, but you're not sorry at all. Don't pretend you're sorry.
I get it.
We all know he's not going to change.
We know he's not going to. We all know. I'm just saying what I would like to see. I'm not saying what Slot's going to
do. That's what we're
even with this. Sorry, Jake. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's the team. Us guys, and his mad thing is me, Lee, and Brian, and even you 12 agree on that front line. The front three, you should go with that. And it's like, that's what football's all about. I don't understand Slot sometimes. It's like, when something's not working and you've tried it in two important games and it's not worked, and you've done it again against Fulham, it gets to a point where you're thinking, you know what, this guy's a bit too cautious for me. Yeah. You got to be cautious in life, of course, to be careful and stuff. But for me, when you've got what was the point gap? 13-point gap when we went into that.
11.
Was it 11 against Paris Saint-Germain? We went into that game with 11-point gap. Oh, I think it was 15, bro, wasn't it?
Oh, when we went to PSG, yeah, it's a different story.
Yeah. So we went into that game with that gap, and I'm thinking, why don't he just do a shady little Chiesa move here? You know, like they're expecting Jota, but we'll give on Chiesa, for example. And okay, so what's like Gravenberch? Not really great. Tired. Let's switch them up a bit as well. I want him to be a bit more use his initiative, because at the end of the day, that team he's picking all the time. It has won in the league. Don't get me wrong. But Elliott's chipped in, Darwin, whoever, you know, they've all chipped in off the subs bench and stuff. And what makes me laugh is that every time everyone's come off the bench, not one of them has had a terrible game that they won't see the pitch again for another month or so, or another 6 weeks. You ain't seen nothing. Chiesa went missing. Like, how many times did Chiesa go missing this season, bro? Not because of injuries. It's because the guy don't want to get played by Slot. That's annoying.
Yeah,
you know, I think Slot needs to realise he's at a big club here. And I said this a while back, about 6 months ago. Slot needs to keep the team sweet. Okay, and don't make an example of players that it ruins their football. You know, like for me, when Klopp came in, he made Sacco that guy. You know, and after that, there was no one else, I believe, because for me, Sacco.
I think he already did that.
You know what?
He already did that with Kwanzaa. He did that with Kwanzaa already.
He did that with Kwanzaa, bro. That's what I was about to get to. Yeah, he did that with Kwanzaa. And I tell you the truth, I didn't like it.
Sacco got booted out of the club. Kwanzaa got
Kwanzaa got dropped, but they're both
it's like
managers.
Right. Well,
yeah, but for me,
there is talk now that Kwanzaa might be on the chopping block.
No, I know. Yeah, no, I know. Anyway, but can I just quickly on the? I mean, Darwin. Even with all the stuff and the people he likes, the guys will be sick of me hearing me say this, but Jota, 1 in 12. 1 in 12 appearances. 1 goal, 12 appearances.
Yeah.
Nunez, 1 goal, 15 appearances. Right? So what's wrong? Like, what is it about the two of them that you can't change?
I have an answer. I do have an answer.
No, but I'm saying with Chiesa, even like to Slot, there's nothing he said, oh no, these are working for me. You know, even Slot can't look at this now and go, no, these picks are working for me. Like, even he might, this is like Thomas saying burst balloons. I don't think he's going to make multiple changes. I just think he could look at it and go, do you know what? Jota's not doing it for me. Nunez isn't doing it for me. Why not just give Chiesa 45 minutes against West Ham? I don't think it's out of this world.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think it's an out of this world shout to do it. Do you know what I mean?
No, and I don't think it does us that much harm to start with him.
No.
To see what he's like from the start for once.
Yes. No, I'm not asking for Endo and Elliott and Jones and Simi and Chiesa start on the right and Salah to be dropped. I just think that is one I think he could potentially look at and go, do you know what? Jota, you're not doing the business. Darwin, you're not doing the business. Chiesa, you make a difference when you come on. I'm going to give you an hour. I'm going to give you an hour from the start, through the middle. Why the fuck not? Why not?
Exactly.
No, I agree with you.
Spoke on Chiesa, haven't we? The way he gets shots off all the time, that's his thing, isn't it? Like, no sooner as he got the ball in the around the area, in and around the area, and he's looking to get a shot off, isn't he? And we get goals from that. You know, you can get rebounds, which we did, if I remember correctly. Was it around the Brentford game when we won the Brentford game? Late, he come on and he did one of them, I think.
I just don't like the case for even stubborn Slot. You know, it one change that he could make.
Simi's another one that I think is underused this season. I think he's put too much burden on Robbo's legs. I mean, look, you can't argue with the guy, given where we're sat in the table and how far ahead we are. You can't argue with the guy, really. But, you know, we're going to pick the bones of what he's up to, like, and he has underused some players. It would be Soboslai I'd take out of that side, the one that you put up on the screen. I'd move him out and move Curtis into the midfield because Bradley should be starting. I mean, I'll be absolutely astonished if Bradley doesn't start this one. And I would move Curtis into the midfield instead of Dom if it was my choice, just to freshen it up more than anything. I'm not even necessarily saying, oh, because of the extra legs, you know what I mean? I'm just saying just for something different. Just to freshen it up a bit, like, you know what I mean? Just to have a different 11.
But, bless Buzz in the chat. Good to see you, bro.
What I was going to say real quick too is what I was going to say to what you said. I agree. It's obvious. I mean, we've all been, there's been myself. I'm not alone in saying how much. And I know you were a big fan of Chiesa long before you even came to the team, Brian. And like what we've all been saying, and it's an interesting piece because I actually just saw someone that we both rate, the journalist. Now I'm going blank on his name for some reason. The one journalist that we both watch,
David Lynch.
David Lynch.
Sitting in the car guy.
Yeah, sitting in the car park. Yeah.
With the Skip, the world famous Skip. Now that Skip is going to get its own channel soon. I tell you.
He made an actual segment on just about Chiesa and whether he should we start Chiesa? There are other people. There's been all of a sudden a little bit growing sentiment of Chiesa. It's only because of this. It's because if you look at some of the statistics, it does kind of say, look, this guy is able to. Might not be a 90-minute match fit. I don't know. We haven't seen him play like that. Other than Southampton, I don't think he started once. Also, do I think that that you could get what you necessarily want from him in a game against West Ham at Anfield? Yes, I do. I personally do. But with Chiesa, with Nunez, as Baz said earlier, and shout out also to that's a long name, Mighty Mag, and representing Newcastle, representing definitely Talk TV. Shout out. He's saying, "Can I get a massive?" Was he asking? Say massive.
I'll get well soon to Eddie Howe.
Eddie
Howe's in hospital.
I didn't know that.
Eddie Howe's,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. But what I was just going to get at is, this. With Chiesa, with Nunez, especially with Nunez, I'll handle Nunez first. With Nunez, the situation with him is that I think that he provides something different. The same, very similar to what Baz was saying earlier about he brings out a different work rate than Hata does. What I would even emphasize, he brings out more physicality in the approach to it all. And I also think that, honestly, I know people don't all agree on this part and point, but it has been shown in the numbers and it's also been said by the actual player. I think the best player, the player that Salah works best with, is Nunez.
Yeah,
I don't think he works well with Hata, unfortunately, or at least as well. I just say he doesn't work well, but he doesn't work as well with Hata than he does with Nunez because Nunez provides different channels for him and creates different opportunities for him. But I also would emphasize that with Chiesa, why I'm interested in trying to get him in that front lineup or that front line is because I would say, and the numbers back it up, Chiesa is arguably the second most creative player on our team. He can create shots from virtually everywhere on the pitch. And he's also a player that can create them on his own. And I just would like to see that kind of versatility in the front line where you'd have three players that are all dynamic, whether it's Salah, Chiesa, or even Diaz, having the ability to create, especially if you're going to go up against those kind of lineups that like to sit in those low blocks. Players that can create on their own and not be so stringent or so reliant on us trying to create it out of the system. They can possibly create it on their own, which would make a difference. And having, again, the 1-2 punch of a Hata, or even who's clinical enough for our likes, and or a Nunez that could be the chaos matter, if you want to call it that, but at least the physicality and strength of going and hitting the back line. That's what I would be looking for. Those are the reasons why I emphasize that I don't necessarily care who starts per se, but I would like to see the right players start against lineups. We have 5, if not 6 at times, viable choices to make in our front line to be able to cause problems or cause our opposition to have to adjust to us, as opposed to us have to always adjust to them. That's how that's my my point. So, predictions time. That's what it comes down to. What are your predictions on this game? Can we hit the high fives?
I'll be happy with the high 3 points, bro.
The high 3?
High 3, that would do for me. I would take a 3-0. I would love to see a first half where we go for it. That's the main one, Oh, bless up Ian as well in the chat. Nice to see you, bro. Long time. He's on with the 3-1.
Okay.
I know we always let a goal in, you know what I mean, as well. I don't like saying that we're going to let a goal in. Hence why I always go with a 0 for the opposition. I don't like giving no team nothing, not even a corner. So if Alisson comes in, that'd be cool.
Okay. So what is it that you're thinking?
I'm going 3-0, bro.
3-0. Got you.
Yeah.
Lee, what's your choice?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 3-0.
Oh,
I'm going for 3-0, yeah. We do traditionally have a good record against West Ham at home. We tend to always have good performances against West Ham at home. So, I'll go for the 3-0.
Okay.
Looking like Ali, Jimmy.
Tom's giving it. Let me get these. First, let me start with.
Jimmy's just saying who's the keeper. It's looking like Ali.
That's a big question. I think, still.
Yeah, it should be Ali, though.
Should be Ali, but that is a question.
I think it will be.
As an Irishman, Jimmy, would that affect your score prediction, Jimmy, knowing who the keeper is? Are you saying if Kelleher was starting, a fellow Cork man, he wouldn't do you proud? Is that what you're thinking? Come on now, Jimmy. Come on now, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Kelleher started, it's 4-3. Ali starts 4-0. Okay, fair play.
Wow.
No one's actually.
Right.
You guys talked about the Arsenal result today.
No, but I was going to. We could talk about that right after this. Yeah. Let me just get through these score predictions from the mighty Reds out here, our brethren.
Yeah, 2-0 for Barney.
Okay. Yeah, Ian's got 3-1 Liverpool. Baz has it 2-1 Liverpool. Our friend from Newcastle is saying he's looking at 5-1. Okay, Mighty Mag, I got you. I assume that's also us and not the other way around. Tom is looking at it as 4-1. Mo gets a hat trick and Maka gets another goal. Be back-to-back goals for Maka.
From outside the box.
Yeah, Lee wants to get it sorted early. I agree with that. We answered the question of we think it's going to be Ali, but we're not certain. It could always be that it could be Kelleher, but I think it's going to be Ali because since he mentioned it at the press conference that he was available. Yeah, Baz is saying Ali's going to start tomorrow. You just mentioned that Bernie says 2-0 for her. It has to be, our psyche hasn't been right lately, but she believes that we can get the clean sheet. Jimmy's saying, "Oh, this is, you mentioned that point about him about it. He's going 4-0 to Liverpool. A brace of assist. That could be. You never know. Brace of assist from Ali. That could happen. I'd like to
Ali.
see those. I'd like to see us get that. That's one way that we do score. A couple of our goals are from those quick outlets from our goalkeeper. I don't know how far forward they're going to press us, but off of corner kicks and the like, sometimes we can get those kinds of fast breaks. Okay, I think that's all of them. So go ahead, Brian. Is there what would you want to bring up? And then we're going to go. Then we can bring up JK's question.
Oh no, I was just going to slag Jimmy off for calling himself a rebel. No, the Rebel County down there in Cork. They've been rebelling for so long now, so long. There was one other one. What was it? Yeah, Tom said typical Cork man looking to hedge the bet, So yeah, no, it's just there's some inter-county hurling going on here basically between Cork, Tip, and Waterford. Waterford usually doesn't come out on top in those by the way, but at least Kilkenny hasn't entered the building. Yeah, I would go. I like this record thing, I don't know if any of the lads will know about it. Mo is the kind of guy that probably might know, but you're I didn't even realize it's going to break a record. But I would like it if they found out about this 5-goal record thing, and if they were 3 up, they decided to just go for it.
I hope they do.
Yeah, so I'm going to give us at least 2. I'm always generous to the opposition, especially these days. Kudu, Spaghetti, Bone, Fulkrug, so I'll give them 1. 3-1. 3-1 to the Reds.
3-1. Yeah. How about for Lee? Did you give your score?
Yeah, I went for 3-0. Same as Jay, 3-0.
Okay. Why not? I'll say it. Let's go for the high fives. Let's go for the high fives.
It's very rare, if ever, I can remember them coming to Anfield and getting a clean sheet, West Ham. But they've got a better, a better man in charge now for the Premier League anyway. Lopetegui just wasn't cutting the mustard, was he? In any way, shape, or form, so we had to go. But it's rare that they come to Anfield and manage to stop us scoring. And I just hope that carries on. It's same as. Managed to put a few past them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going high fives. The high fives. Let's go. Let's go, my mighty Reds. Let's go. So the end of I'm hoping that the end of the drought ends here for Mohamed Salah. But I'm hoping that the GA drought ends here. I'd like to see him get a hat trick of assists tomorrow. I'd like that very much so. Right. Is he on, how many assists is he on currently?
I think 17.
17, right?
Yeah.
Get a hat trick of assists and put that and we can move on.
We haven't did a show since Salah signed his contract with you, so we haven't really heard from you. Like, what do you reckon about the news Salah staying official and stuff?
I was happy to see that it was taken care of. I was happy to see that this is now something that isn't going to keep lingering on to the end of the season. I was also happy to see that by doing so, the only thing that's left is putting now the emphasis on when that when VVD officially, quote unquote, signs his deal, I think that out of the three, if you're going in not priority, but if you're going in in likelihood of re-signing with us, everyone I think pretty much had Virgil van Dijk at the top of the list, Salah second, and then most likely third on that list was Trent. So being we got the middle child, I guess you could say, out of the way, getting Virgil van Dijk seems like more like imminent, less than likely or less than unlikely, and there's always a chance that there's always a chance. I don't want to sound like Dumb and Dumber, but you're saying there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance that Trent Arnold says something different.
God.
Who knows? But yeah.
That'd be one of the biggest surprises. Like for me, Virgil was the number one guy who I knew would sign. Like Trent was the last one, and Salah was the middle guy. But I just thought Virgil was, he's captain. We've got to keep this guy, Trent, on the other hand, imagine he says, you know what, I don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
That would be so embarrassing to a lot of people. They won't be able to show their faces on streams no more, calling him this, that, and the other. And this. For me, I ain't going to call him nothing. It's his choice at the end of the day. No one's got a right to say anything to him. It's his choice.
Okay. The other thing I was going to offer out is you asked about what you're saying about Arsenal against Real Madrid. Is that what you're talking about?
No, the draw against Brentford today.
Oh, the draw against Brentford. Didn't we say that was going to happen?
I'm not sure. I said a draw. Even Brentford could nick it. It was a 1-1. Odegaard, Saka on the bench, so he's gone with that same philosophy of what he did in the first Real Madrid game, where he rested everyone against Everton. It's cost him the league title, resting them. He took it as a gamble, and it sort of worked out for him. It all depends on the second leg now. It's going to be comedy. None of us like Real Madrid, and none of us want them guys to win. But if you want Real Madrid to win a game, that opposition must be someone you really don't really like, and that's Arsenal, bro. It's like this season we all wanted Man City to win games. You know what I mean? It's just been a weird season. So for us to want Real Madrid to win a game in the Champions League,
it's weird.
Someone we don't want to win.
It's weird.
It's weird. Bro.
I will admit this, though. And this is I'll probably get clipped up for saying this. I get it. But what I was going to say is this. I can't stand either one of these teams. So I think I would rather see Arsenal win or Arsenal advance. They don't have to win, but I'd rather see Arsenal advance in this round against Real Madrid, simply because I think there's a less likelihood of Arsenal winning the Champions League. I get it. It's one step closer to doing it. But with that said, I still think that if Real Madrid gets past this round, it'd be an opportunity for them to, exhale and say, okay, wake up call, and then be regular Real Madrid with the Champions League, like their Champions League performances. Arsenal's playing on house money. Let's not get it twisted. There's no way anyone had Arsenal, getting this far, if not getting not many people have them winning the league, winning the Champions League. So and there's just and beyond Real Madrid, there's still teams that are better than Arsenal involved in the pursuit. They still got to get to the semis. They still got to get to the finals. That's tough.
4 games, bro. They've got to win them all.
Yeah.
And I can't see that. I
couldn't see it either.
No, I meant what I said to the Arsenal fan who came on yesterday. I want Arsenal to complete the job now on Madrid. but then be knocked out by Paris.
Yeah.
So, as well as I wish them for the second leg against Madrid, I don't wish them well for the game against Paris, because that's a team who knocked us out.
That was the plus side of that Arsenal result. Okay, we didn't want Arsenal to win, but at the end of the day, it did Real Madrid fans head in. That was good.
Yeah,
that was good as well, though.
Oh, mate, I only discovered how obnoxious some Real Madrid fans. I won't put them all in the same basket, but how obnoxious some of them are. You know, I had an argument with one. You know, they were saying, "Oh, Liverpool's a small club," and all. Shut up, mate. Shut up, will you? Idiot.
But they got no respect for Ancelotti. I've heard some of their fans having a go at him, and I'm thinking this guy has brought you more success than anyone.
I know, yeah. Well,
it's madness. Look at Klopp, bro. Look at Klopp. He went great in the last 2 years, really. I didn't really hear anything. There was one or two fans who said something about Klopp, but in general, us fans always supported Klopp. Real Madrid they're very, that's why for me, if you're a football player, and Trent, if he goes to Real Madrid, he has to really be 100%, because them fans ain't no nonsense. It makes them win, of course, but for me, football is bigger than something. Sometimes respect is very important. I don't like that. It's like Ancelotti's like a used car. Oh, he ain't working no more, really. Just get rid of him. Like where's that respect?
It's disrespectful of Carlo that way, isn't it? Because he turned it round for them, because every time they hired a Spanish manager, the guy flopped, whoever it is. So he had to come in, didn't he, and save them. Yeah, and there is quite a bit, but it's one of them clubs. We said yesterday, Abdul put it in the comments about, playing for, and I was saying, playing for Real Madrid or Barcelona, you've got to be really thick-skinned as a player. You take a lot of crap from the fan base, because they expect so much. I mean, I thought we were quite demanding in what we expected as Liverpool fans, but we got nothing on them lot on Real Madrid, mate.
Yeah. Looking at the standings right now. Look at it, and then we could talk about Champions League in one more second too. But real quick, getting back to Prem too. One team that people have been sleeping on is Villa. I get that Villa lost 3-1, I think, against PSG just recently. It was something that Emery was okay with, in the sense of, hey, I just said it with Baz, 2-0, maybe a 3-1 back, maybe get a 3-1 win, push it to pens and see where it goes. It's an entirely different game when you go to pens, by the way. Who knows? But Villa, 54 points, sitting in 5th place currently on 32 played. City, with that win, they had a big win today, notched in that 4th place with 55 points. One thing that is very, 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 very noticeable, or very noticeable for me, is looking at this standing stuff. And shout out to our Newcastle brethren in the house here, our Newcastle friend. Newcastle sitting with 2 games in hand on 53 points, sitting just beneath in goal differential, 17 for Chelsea, and Newcastle's got 13. They're not necessarily worried about that at the moment because Chelsea's hot or cold. You could possibly see a situation where Chelsea playing Ipswich at home get their 3 points. Newcastle at home playing Manchester United. To Mighty Mag, your Geordies have to get it done against United if you want to have a chance at Europe. This is your opportunity to really push and make a difference in Europe, make a real push for Europe. Because I'm going to land right here. That would end up, if Chelsea were to win. I don't pine to see that happen, trust me. But if Chelsea were to win, if Newcastle were to win, they'll both be sitting on 56 points. And thus, you would then see Manchester City sitting in Europa and holding on to Europa. And I mean holding on to Europa with a fast approaching Villa and Forest holding on to possibly, it's almost like two people on a ledge holding on. At least City has pulled up on that one ring to have two hands on it. Forest still hold on with that one hand. But Forest with 57 points. This is going to be interesting. I think City this year is fortunate to have the case where it's going to be Premier League's going to get 5 spots for Champions League next year. That is a blessing for a lot of teams. But it also means that 6th place, 7th place all get burst into Europe. And it could mean that, either Villa or possibly City or maybe even Forest might not get it.
Good win for Everton today, wasn't it? Away to Forest. To get a win away to Forest is good. But obviously Moyes knew what he was going up against, like the tactics of Nuno and like the way Nuno plays.
Yeah.
He had his own plans, didn't he? But it was a good win. That's an excellent win for them away to Forest.
Absolutely. You got to recognize if Manchester United lose tomorrow, Everton will be above Manchester United.
Ooh, excellent.
Yeah. That's wild. I don't think many people would ever say. I don't think many people would have said that Manchester United would possibly, with like 6 or 7 games left in the season, for most, would be on the verge of possibly looking up at Everton. Liverpool, one thing, unless you're Gary Neville. But I mean, other than Gary Neville, not many people would have had United as far down on the ring as they have. But they've got issues to work out. I don't know I'm long may those issues continue.
Yes. Well said. Long may it continue for an infinite amount of time.
Right.
Forever and ever.
Forever, ever?
May they never find their feet ever again.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I see you're saying they're level on goal difference and points. So if they lost tomorrow and didn't score, they would go below Everton. Yeah. I see what you're saying. And Spurs, Spurs are below Everton. Spurs. With their brand new £1 billion stadium and James Maddison and fucking Son and all these. Have a bad season, Spurs, cool. Go ahead, have a bad season. But that's 9th for Spurs, having a bad season, not 15th. That's got it.
I think Everton's win today away to Forest sort of disproves this theory that it's a weak league this season because, people right down the table can beat teams right at the top of the table.
Mm-hmm.
So, that sort of disproves the theory that it's a rubbish league this season. It's a poor league.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very competitive this season. I mean, you look at the places below us, we're fairly assured in our position, let's say that. But you look at the places below us, it's all up for grabs, isn't it? So many teams involved, which to me says it's a strong league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a historically bad season for two. Like, it's sort of Man United fans are kind of like, they're in this kind of brush it off mode. Like you almost have to kind of admire the way they're like, no, this is totally normal because of what's happening, and we're not what we used to be, and we're rebuilding, we're blah 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 blah. We didn't do that. We didn't get away with blah 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 being in fucking 15th when we were rebuilt. Like like I said, Man United, you can have a bad transition or a bad period. Transition, new manager, We're going to have a little bit of a, ripping the plaster off. There's going to be, break some eggs to make an omelet kind of thing. But that's eighth. That's eighth or ninth. That's a bad season for a match. It should be eighth or ninth. And then you go, oh yeah, but they'll be back next year. Not to go down to that levels. That shouldn't be acceptable for them to be that. Like, and Spurs, the size of the clubs, the money they earn, what they've got to be below, potentially below Everton, but currently below Nottingham Forest, below Villa, below Newcastle, below Fulham, below Brighton, below Bournemouth, below Brentford, below Crystal Palace. Those are all teams that are ahead of Manchester United now and Spurs. So even in a bad year, that wouldn't be acceptable. Why is that acceptable now? For them to be able to drop down and go, oh, well, we're doing this and we're doing that. Liverpool were never allowed to be that bad where they could just drop down like that and go. Like I say, a bad season for a club like that is finishing eighth. It's finishing outside of Europe. Not all the way down where they are. I think it's Postecoglou, obviously, they're just going to sack him in the summer. Like they're just saying, well, what's the point in sacking him now, basically, because he's losing. He's talking about leaks. He's talking about in press conferences. He's saying there's a leak in the squad or at the club, and he knows who it is. And he's like, they're going to get rid of it. Like, this is the kind of shit that's going on at Spurs right now. They're 15th in the league, and the manager is saying, yeah, we've got a mole at the club and a fairly good idea who it is, and they're leaking information. And I was like, okay, that ain't good. The only reason he's been held on is because there's no point sacking him now. What's the fucking point in sacking this guy now? During the summer. So he's obviously lost all control of that club. What's going on there. He never got on with Maddison. He's breaking players. You got Man United. This new manager comes in. If that was a different appointment and he came in and look at Amram's results, that's getting sacked by Manchester United level of results. But not these days, apparently. This is incredible to see. Like, to see the likes of Fulham and Bournemouth and all that, yeah, whatever. But for the way that they're just kind of accepting that this is the place that they're in now, we never accepted that. We never, ever accepted that as Liverpool fans, that was our place. But no, we were always next year. Oh, typical next year is going to be Liverpool's year. Yeah, of course it is, because that's the only way to get out of that mess is saying next year we're going to do better. But you hear United fans going, oh, it's part of the process. Amorim needs time. It's like, geez, lads, how the mighty have fallen,
I mean, I can remember when we looked so far off it. It was like, just horrible to watch us at times. Like, we were so far away from being a decent side. When Rodgers first took over, God, we were a shambles at that point. But he did get it on the go. He sort of started the upturn that Klopp then took over from him, and now he's handed it on to Slot. But I can remember when we were really far off it, but we were never that far off it. As far as they are at the moment.
Right.
No,
right.
Never that far down the league.
Oh, we have a question there from Ryan Gallagher. That's a new name on me. So, Ryan, it's great to see you in the chat, mate. Always good to see new people. His question is, what do you guys think in the summer, if the summer window is Xavi Simons, Ekitike, Kirkes, and Hyson? That's an attacking midfielder, a striker, a centre half, and a left back.
Yeah.
Xavi Simons, I don't know. Been around a while, changed clubs a lot. So it's a lot of talk, a lot of hype. He'd be a minor gamble. I don't think he'd be a huge gamble. But I think he'd be a minor gamble. But I think there's a brilliant player in there. But is he capable of kind of stepping up and doing it at a bigger club? Ekitike is someone I do really like. A much more affordable version of an Isak, if that's what the kind of player you're looking for. Kirkes, to me, is a bit of a no-brainer. Completely re-energized the left-back role or left-back position. And Dean Hyson as well, I think, is a great one for the future. So Ekitike, Kirkes, and Hyson, And even with or without Xavi Simons, I think I'd be very, very happy with that business. I know some people aren't big on Ekatike. I don't. Again, every player is a gamble. I think Kirkes would fit in pretty well. But, yeah, I think that'll be a nice little group of players that improve us.
It's a
Xavi
nice. It's a
Simons,
nice
I
group.
don't know.
Yeah, it's a nice group. I don't know if it improves us. I've been I don't know what the other panelists think, but with me, when I look at that list right there, I think 4 talented, promising young players.
Yeah, it's a young group
Um,
of players. It's a young group.
but all 4 of them are in their own rights. All 4 of them are projects, all the same, in that they're still masterpieces in the works, in a sense. So,
That's
not
what we
saying that
like,
they
though.
can't be a masterpiece in their own right, but I wouldn't say any of them have necessarily established themselves as like the cat's meow, as my grandmother would say. Um, so, but all talented players, all good, all players that could make a difference um, for us.
Simmons would make sense with him being Dutch. It would make sense to bring more Dutch players in. It's not necessary. Like, it doesn't have to. He could be from bloody anywhere as long as they cut the mustard when they get here. But I think Xavi Simmons is a good shout because you're looking around and there aren't that many midfielders available, are there? Like, we'd be able to afford him as well. I think if we went for him. It's a deal you could see happening if we actually went for it, like, and followed up on this alleged interest of ours in Xavi Simmons.
I like Xavi Simmons is a talented player. Ekatike. I think he's a very talented player. I know people are often associating him. People are associating him with Isak as being the player that he most basically. He's like maybe even I don't want to call him a low budget.
Stylistically,
Stylistically, yes.
similar. Yeah.
He's a more affordable
Well, that's what
Isak.
Mighty Mag is saying there. Mighty
Yeah,
Mag is saying, sorry to interrupt, he's
I,
saying that they were after him a couple of years ago. Bad attitude and stinking agent.
yeah. Okay. It's
Well, I
something
mean,
that's
things
not
change.
good. You know what? If that's the case, I will say this: if there's anything I know about Liverpool, at least the brain trust that is behind Liverpool now, it is that they do a lot of analytics that deal with the ability for a player to, meld into to be not be a bad apple amongst in the bunch. So I think that I don't want to put Carvalho because I know Carvalho is Baz's guy, but yeah, I don't think that we would be willing to go if that player has that kind of stumbling block. I don't think that we're going to go for a player that we probably would pass on pushing for that lever. I would go as far as to say that a lot of those names on that list are good names, though. All 4 of which that I'd be happy to see come join Liverpool, and 2 of which I think are going to join Liverpool on that list. And I think Kirkes will be a player that we will see join. I think that as long as Husan as long as we know what Husan's ultimate goal is for his career, then I think that he could be a player that we make a move for. He's got 3 other clubs looking to make a play for him. A couple of those clubs probably don't care if he moves on to Real Madrid because Real Madrid is obviously a larger and more prominent club than they are. But I'm not looking to bring on players that look at us as being a stepping stone to Real Madrid. If this is only my personal opinion. If that is your pursuit in the sense of that Real Madrid this is just a layover on your flight plans, cool, kick rocks, we're good. We'll find someone that's invested in the project here and wants to build dynasties here. That's how I would pursue it personally. Any other? Yeah. Is there something else that you guys want to talk about real quick too? Though, by the way.
No, was there anything left on the agenda? Have we covered everything? We're going to talk briefly about. Yeah, there was a few things. I mean, VBD is since you've been away, we've had the contract stuff, Salah stuff, VBD. Looks like he's done as well, but that's kind of old news now and new news at the same stage, really. Yeah, there hasn't been much. I think PSG. They're going to destroy Villa. I enjoyed watching them. I thought they were great. I don't think Villa have much chance to come back from that. That third goal kind of killed them. And I think they'd be the one to go on. But like, I don't really mind that. You know, I like watching them. I can kind of put it aside for one what a kind of what the PSG project is when you're watching them. Just for 90 minutes, they're that good. So it's good to see that we didn't get beaten by some junk team.
Yeah.
We're actually one of the best teams out there that I've seen this season. And yeah, Desiree Doué, Kvaratskhelia, great players, good stuff to watch. Like we were talking about it during the week, it's like, look, we're out of it now. It sucks that we're out of it. But there's still some good matches going on. So at least we can enjoy it and watch it without a bit of stress. If you have to find a silver lining in it.
Yeah.
So you can watch some good European football without having to stress about what's going to happen to us. But yeah, that PSG team, man.
Yeah,
I still think Donnarumma's going to let them down. They lack a goal scorer. They have to score out of worldies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pressure, a lot of chances, and they were doing what they did to us, couldn't put it in. Then all of a sudden they get 3, but I think a better team that can stop them doing that, and their goalkeeper is a weak link. So I don't think they're going to win it, but a lot of people won't want to play them. But
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
PSG's looking like they're in form. Still showing that form that we were suspect to see. And I think with PSG, you have a very well coached team as well. It's something, and the direction that they've gone is a different direction. Rather than taking superstars, they've put together a team of players that want to win as a team. And I also would even go as far as to say with that earlier question too. This is something that I just know. I'm transparent. This is something that me and K-Mac were going back and forth. For instance, shout out to K-Mac and his channel there. He's been watching Ekatike a lot, I guess, lately because he's been telling me when he scores, give me updates, and I know that that's someone he's very interested in seeing join our team. It really gets down to, and this is the question I have for the panel can answer this real quick too, or if not, you in the chat can answer this. I know some people weren't on board for Nunez. Some people never were, or still aren't, or maybe they've fallen off. But we could all say that Nunez was a project. It's a project that didn't necessarily go the way that everyone had projected. But we could also say that a lot of the players, a lot of the strikers that are being connected with us, maybe minus 1 or 2, aren't necessarily the finished article. So you're looking at a project player, once again, that you're going to now put into a spot that you're going to look to be the man. You're going to look to create that kind of output as if he is the man. And that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of circumstances that I don't know if a lot of people would have the patience to allow for it to develop. Because Ekatike is a very good player. He could pan out to be one of the best, maybe. But yet, are you going to be that guy out there or lady out there that is going to say, yeah, we get that he's not scoring, but it's his first year in the Prem. Or yeah, we get that he's not really scoring the way he did in the Bundesliga or whatever league he's in. Are you going to be comfortable to say you're okay with that? So that's a big question. It's a big question. In my opinion, that's a big question. And that's why I'm not. If we get Ekitike, great. I'm not downplaying. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be optimistic to where and what can happen from it. But if Harry Kane is out there saying, "Hey, I'll go and join the club for 2-3 years or 2 years, maybe, let's say, give me a 2-year contract so we can go, win the Champions League together."
No.
Okay, I got you.
No, I think if for reference, like, Darwin got a lot of time from most people. 1 year, 2 years, even now, he's been given the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've been overly generous with time, not just with him, but for a lot of players. But I think to the point you're trying to make, it's not even towards on the player or the fans or the
absolutely.
The whatchamacallit. Like, I want us to bring in a couple of those guys. I think Kirkez is ready made. I think Kirkez is is Robbo 7 years ago. Robbo just doesn't have the legs on it. To me, he just brings that energy, that freshness. It'd be a new lease on life at the left back position. Perfect. He's done it in the league. Bring him in, Heisen project. But I do think that if we're going to bring in someone up front to replace, hopefully, for me, I know Nunes looks like he's almost certainly gone, but also Jota, because I think his time is done as well. I would much rather, I wouldn't be wanting to bring in an Ekitike, a 21-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I would much prefer to bring in, like I said yesterday, I think you were saying to JK, I want us to make a marquee signing. I know it's not a thing we do, but I want us to go out and make a signing that says to the rest of the Premier League, oh, they've just gone and bought him. Now, Isak isn't going to, but an Isak. Do you know what I mean? A big, it's like, oh, they're not fucking around. They're not just going out and buying projects. Liverpool are actually going out and spending big in big areas. I'd love us to see us do that, whether we do or not. But just the name, whatever name you want to use, but yeah, someone who could come in that role and can take on that pressure, can be someone who's got, like, even without Tara Martinez, that level of player. Not that we're going to get him, but just not a project up front. Projects in the back or whatever. But yeah, just one guy that says to the rest of the Premier League, yeah, Liverpool aren't messing around here.
Right.
They've won a league, they're making changes, and they plan to stick around. Because look at who they bought. Because they've kept Salah, they kept BBD, they've gone, let's just say Isak for the sake of argument, right? They've got Isak, they've gone out and bought this guy, but they're also after picking up two of the best young players around, like Kirkez and Heisen. Like, they're doing it all. That's what I want to see us do. Just go out and make a big statement signing. Like, geez, they've gone out and gotten him.
Right.
Okay. These boys are serious over here. That's what I'd like. That's what I'd like to see.
I mean, Nunes was actually that big signing, wasn't he, a few years ago?
Well, price-wise, it was like, ooh, they've gone and splashed the cash. They're not fucking in it. They're willing to spend 85
Not
on
messing around. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. A lot of F-bombs being dropped, but I got you. Yeah.
Well, it's gone.
I know. I'm just something. Get the swear jar out. Like, I'm just playing with you, Brian.
No, but I know Isak is not for sale.
Yeah. Isak is also, whatever the sale price is for Isak, it's going to be too expensive. I think, and ultimately, I.
Get well soon. I've seen before Eddie Howe was in hospital or something.
Yeah. Eddie Howe is in the hospital. Yeah. We said thoughts and prayers. Hopefully, he makes a return. And Mighty Mag and like Baz is saying, money talks. We understand that. I just personally, I'd rather see us if it means 120, 130. 150 possibly.
I'd
I
walk
would
away at 120, but I'd go to 120.
still all the same. For
Yeah.
120, I personally rather
Still,
see us spend
high, I
50
know.
million. I personally rather see us spend 50 and 40 on Kirkez and Husan. Bring those two players in, two very promising players. Um, Ones that our current sporting director has a relationship with, and maybe Julian can work out good deals for us to get contracts with them, and for the extra 30 million that's left over, if not maybe even the extra 60 million for that's going to be left over, if we're still looking to be able to spend that 30 to 60 million on a very 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 good player, whether it's a DM, whether it's a DM, whether it's a possible, we would have had a center half and a left back there, but maybe even a real concerted right back. Maybe go get Frimpong or something for the 30 to 60 million that we'll have in the bag. And all of a sudden, for one Isak, we just picked up three big names, three promising young talented players that we can put in and possibly get thrown.
Well, I would be kind of thinking we could get a Hyson and a Kirkez anyway, and then it would be dependent on sales whether you went big. I think it's just.
Yeah,
I think we'd have enough money. Yeah, like if we sold, we could sell easily £100 million worth of players. Easy. If you were to sell Simi, Jota, Darwin, Elliot, and you wouldn't even have to, and Kelleher, all of a sudden you probably got 100 million in the door.
Yeah.
I just think we could. Yeah, we wouldn't go all the way, but I'd just like to see us. I don't know, but who's that £100 million striker that's out there? It doesn't even have to be the striker. It could be just
and we wouldn't have to pay 100 million for him. That's my point. We wouldn't have to pay. Look, if this is hypothetical, and I'm not, because we're gonna be bringing the show to a close. But hypothetically, tell us in the comments. Maybe you can, maybe we can get more, or maybe we can talk about more on the roll call tomorrow. Think about it. Just think about this as we approach roll call, because it's gonna be a bright and early roll call for me. It'll be 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm always up for some wild suggestions at 5 a.m. But pause on that one. But what I was going to say is, let's get 50 million for Husan, 40 million for, let's say, for Kirkes. It's 90 million. Now, because it looks like 120 to 150, let's say it's 60 million that we have to play to get to that 150 that we're going to spend. Offer the 60 million to Bayern Munich. Maybe they take it. And all of a sudden, we're looking at a front line with Harry Kane. Looking at our front line. I don't know if that's Brian crumbling up his own script and throwing it out.
That's Lee or crisps or something.
Huh?
That's Lee with a bag of crisps, I think.
That's Lee with his crisps. Okay. Now maybe he's enjoying the story. But
crisps, yeah.
I got you. But what the last part is saying, yeah, let's just tell me what you think about it in the comments. Tell me what you think about it tomorrow at roll call for sure. I think that'd be a great summer. That'd be a great summer for us, I think. Harry Kane, Husan, and Kirkes. And then fill in the blanks of one or two other players that you guys think. I personally think that I wouldn't mind seeing Bajcetic just return as our DM. That's just my opinion. I get that that's not a popular one with a lot of people. But I think that we're okay when it comes to DMs. I wouldn't mind seeing Bajcetic be returned to have the ability to show and prove the same way that Gravenberch was able to do this year. Also, I wouldn't mind us getting one other player. I don't see us having. I don't think of us having a 5-6 player summer. But we might. I could be wrong. But all the same.
What's
These are
his
some
name?
names. I'd love to hear what you think about
what's his name? Benjamin Sesko as an option up front. Do you think he'd do the business for us? Do you think he's the type of player who'd fit into Slot's pattern? What do you reckon? We've been linked with Ekitike, haven't we? We know we're not going to buy Isak. I mean, I like Cunha myself. I think Cunha's a good option with him already being in the league and proving that he can score in this league. The others you're taking a slight gamble that they might not take to the Premier League. But Cunha, we know he can score goals.
Man United after him, Lee, as well.
Are we?
Yeah, recently I've seen a lot of links like he wants to go there, this, that, and the other. He's got his head screwed loose, man. Sesko, not for me as well.
Sesko
I want a big striker. Yeah, like for me, bro, the Isaac thing I was going to say earlier is this. If they reach the Champions League, Newcastle, I don't reckon they want to sell him. So I think he'll end up staying there if they get the Champions League qualification. And with the fee they're asking for, yeah, he'll score goals, don't get me wrong, but I don't think there's any club going to be ready to pay that fee.
No, Isak, I said it before, Jake, Isak has to push. If Isak is to get out of Newcastle, he's going to have to push. He's going to have to do what nobody wants to have to, because he has, like you said, he's got 3 years left on his deal. Very good chance that they will qualify for Champions League. They don't have PSR problems now, so they don't have to sell anybody. So you can't dazzle them with money. So the only way a player like Isak leaves Newcastle is if he walks up to the owners and says, "I want to go. I want to leave.
Yeah,
and make it happen for me." And even then he doesn't have to go. They're under no pressure whatsoever to get rid of him. So they have all of the power there when it comes to Isak. Absolutely. So
yeah, if they can give him Champions League football next season, with obviously just won a trophy as well for the first time in a while. So getting a trophy in the cabinet's a big one for Newcastle. But if he can offer him Champions League football, I wouldn't understand why he'd want to move really, unless unless he's just there's one club where you can
understand why he wants to move. No, you could understand why he would want to leave. He would want to leave to join Real Madrid or Barcelona or Man City or Liverpool. He'd want to leave Manchester. Yeah, Man City. He would definitely want to leave. Of course he would.
Yeah, of course he would.
He's 26 now, 25, 26. He's, by the time they get to the point where they might be super, super successful, he'll have given most of his career there. They're not going to be winning leagues tomorrow,
That's exactly right. Now or never for him, I reckon.
Yeah, now or never for him. So he might say, "Look, I've given you this, I've given you that." Same with Bruno Guimaraes. I don't know, but they don't have to let these players go. So it's like I said, he's going to have to be the one that goes kick up a stink, cause a bit of controversy, and say I want to leave. But someone also then has to come in with the money. And it'll probably be a freaking Saudi club that will come in with we'll give you 150. Nobody in England is giving 150 million. Nobody. Jesus, no. 120, 30 million. Maybe. We went 110 for Caicedo. Chelsea went 110 for Fernandez. 110 around that. But 150? Us? No. That's not going to happen. But I think Cunha will be the guy that I will go for. I like him in that role. He's got a bit of heat for this one red card he's got. He got a red card in the FA Cup because he headbutted somebody. But if you watch it, it's just two people going head to head. You've seen it a million times. He's got about 20 odd goals. Well, he hasn't got 20. He's got 17, 18 goals, something like that in the Premier League. Do you know how many cards he has in the Premier League? One yellow card in the Premier League. That guy does not have disciplinary issues like people are trying to make out. Oh, he's a hothead. He's a lunatic. He's not. He just got into a little tete-a-tete. He's got one yellow card in the Premier League and a lot of goals. I think he's a great little player. So
One
that would be
incident. It's only one incident, isn't it? Does not.
yeah, like that would be the
Yeah.
thing. If you're talking about 150 million for an Isaac, or he's got a release clause in him for 60 million, I could much easier see us doing that. And then you have more money if that's what you need, if that's what you have to do, and go different things with it. Much more sensible sign. But I just don't like the way the whole. Oh, he's a hothead. It's been blown. That's been totally blown. One yellow card in the Premier League. That's it. That's his whole football. So the guy's all right. I don't like João Pedro at Brighton as much. I prefer Cunha because they're two guys that get linked as kind of similar players in a similar kind of role. But I prefer Cunha over João Pedro, and similar price as well.
Well, you have what you have Brian's picks. You've heard my picks as well. You've heard I think we've heard Lee and JK's, but we're gonna have roll call tomorrow. Like I said, it's gonna be 5 a.m. and for me, it's gonna probably be a lot more enjoyable, more comfortable time for some of you out there. But I will be with us tomorrow. I might not necessarily be on screen, but I will be with us tomorrow for Red's roll call. I'm making it an effort to do that. So
1 p.m. UK time. 1 p.m. UK time.
1 p.m.
In case
UK
anybody's
time,
wondering.
right? And please do join us tomorrow. Should be a fun one because we can hopefully get the right energy going on for our Reds here, and it's always good to be together. That's how I see it. So, is there anything you guys want to say before we push out here?
Yeah, just big up the chat. Great to see so many people in there. I'll put the links in for Brian's channel, Lalante's, mine, even Mighty Mag NUFC Tool TV. I put a link in for him.
Good.
So you guys go and follow him as well. Also for Baz as well. I'll put his link in there and Fozzie's channel in there. So there's enough.
Right. Maybe bring Baz out of retirement. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Baz. We're going to see you on the show one time soon.
Calling for you. Yeah.
Streets are calling, bro. I'll put your link in there for everyone to link up. So look forward to the game tomorrow. Let's get a win.
Let's get it. All right. Lee.
Yeah, cheers to everyone in the chat. Thanks for your contributions. Hopefully Liverpool get back to winning ways tomorrow. That's what we all want, isn't it? It's what we all need. And we're not far away now. Arsenal have dropped points and haven't beat the game. So we're even closer than we were yesterday. You know what I mean? It's getting closer and closer. It's getting nearer and nearer. You can see the finish line nearly now.
Okay. Yeah. It's right there. Got you can feel on the tips.
Yeah. You'll almost reach out and pick up
and
the
grab it.
Yeah, definitely. I am hoping that if we win it, like, and it's 20, that little one go, on the wall of champions behind you. I'd get rid of the old League One then after we've won a second Premier League. There's no point having it there.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to put a 2 there. It's just keep going. Just there'll be the only 2 I'm putting there is a 0 followed behind it. There's no 9. That's obviously 19 with the one Prem already included. So, but
I'll link Baz up. He said he's got his laptop back. I'll link you up on TikTok, Baz, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also, Brian, last but not least, shout out. You got anything coming up that you want to push to, by the way?
Yeah, Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do something on Sunday. If not,
I know if you wanted to just push Sunday, you're just into Sunday.
Yeah, no, don't forget Sunday. It's a good day. Do Sunday. Don't forget about Sunday.
Easter, yeah.
Make sure you do it.
Okay.
We're gonna do. No, we were talking about it last night. No, we're gonna do something. Well, look, I am back doing shows a bit more regularly. So just keep the notifications on. And again, for this channel as well, if you do have a chance to check your notifications, make sure they are turned on. That's more important than subscribing, is to check your notifications. So yeah, we're back now. We've got Premier League back. It's only one game a week, so we're going to be doing some pretty random stuff during the week, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Have to fill up some space.
So
So yeah, Bayesian's doing a show tonight. I think they're doing a
Most
show
likely.
1
Oh,
a.m.
well,
ish.
Pop is still here, so he could say it. He could tell you.
Yeah, he'll tell you.
Mhm.
Pops is here.
Yeah.
sorted, Baz, as well. I'll get the number. Sorted. I'll sort that out. Nice one, 12.
Got you. I got you, Pop. Got you, Baz. And I don't know. Pops hasn't answered that one yet. Let's see if Pops says one or not. Because we're going to be ending the show here because that's all we have. No show tonight, but
Okay, no show.
but they will be on tomorrow for the watch along.
Straight to the watch along.
So yeah, join us for the watch along. Then I don't have the ability to go
For
straight
roll
in. Yeah. Oh, did I said watch along? I said I meant roll call. Sorry.
Roll call, yeah.
I don't have the ability to link us straight through there, but we obviously will be providing the link for Bayesian Pops and the crew over there for Bayesian Reds for the watch along. But join us for Reds roll call tomorrow. It's very important that you do because that's how we do our things. Which
1
is
p.m. UK. 1
yep.
p.m. UK.
1 p.m. UK. We'll have that, and then we'll have obviously the viral match reaction right afterwards, which is always a fun one to get into. So hey, thank you for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow. Get a double dose of us tomorrow, and yeah. Other than that, my people, always and forever, up the Reds, my friends, up the Reds, and we will see you soon.